Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. It is Sunday the 9th of June 2024 and I'm back at the Bath and West Showground for the Bulldog Toy Fair. Now this is one of my favourite toy fairs, mainly because it's so local to me and I can just sort of pop down there, but it's always a really good fair, and I've heard today that this one is going to be a big one because they've even opened up the sort of upstairs balcony, so there's going to be more sellers and that on the balcony, which means there's going to be a lot of stuff to see. It's always a mixture of toys. There's a lot of old stuff, there's a lot of sort of more modern-y bits, so it's basically just go and have a rummage around and see what you can find. I've got a lot of things on my project list, so there's lots of stuff that I would like to find, but you never know what you're going to see, so let's just go and have a look. And that's it. I am now back in the car. That was a really good fair, actually. It was lovely to see so many people and so many people who sort of came and said hello to me on the way round. So thanks to everyone who stopped me. It's always nice to chat about toys and hear about what people have been buying and finding on the day. I actually managed to find quite a few good pieces this time, some stuff I wasn't expecting. A few little bits for some projects I'm actually working on as well. That's always very good. And I need to say a massive thank you to Ash, who stopped me and gave me a bag of broken toys, which I will show you when we head back to toy-polloi. So let's head back there now and I'll show you what I picked up. Right, I am now back at toy-polloi, and as I said, it was a really good toy fair. A lot more sort of 80s and 90s type toys and just loads of stuff to look at and see. And I managed to pick up quite a few nice pieces. This first lot, though, is actually something that I was given while I was there. Ash came up to me and said that he's a fan of the channel and he had a whole bag of broken bits that he'd like to donate, and this is what he gave me. So let's have a quick look through that and I'll show you what's inside. We can immediately see there is a Masters of the Universe. I believe this is Panther, but with all of the flock removed. Yeah, Ash said that he'd had a go at removing all the flock. In fact, yes, you can just about see there's a little bit of a purple flock left there. So this is what Panther looks like without any of his flock on. So we just have a plain black Panther. I'm not quite sure what I can do with that. Maybe I should re-flock him in a different colour, but quite an interesting thing to have. So I'm going to have a think about that. Then we have a few other bits, and these are all sort of broken pieces. There's a selection of Star Wars figures. We've got a few Imperials here. So we have a Scout Trooper, we've got a Snow Trooper, and we have a AT-AT Commander. So the Biker Scout is in a pretty reasonable condition for a Biker Scout. Bit yellowed, bit dirty, lots of paint wear, but I think that's a really nice figure. The Snow Trooper, again, a little bit on the yellowed side, but otherwise actually not too bad. All of these can go into Yellow Squadron here. And then we have an AT-AT Commander who looks like someone has chewed his feet, maybe. I'm not quite sure what's gone on with his feet, but they certainly have had some damage done to them, and likewise his hand there is chewed. But these are all perfect figures for Yellow Squadron, and if you collect Star Wars toys and Star Wars vehicles, figures like this are ideal to put in your Star Wars vehicles. An AT-AT Commander like that can happily sit in an AT-AT and you'll never see his feet. So that's the sort of thing that I would like to do with those, but these will be going in Yellow Squadron and building up that little army there. So those are great. There's also another bag of broken Star Wars figures. These are figures in pieces, and if you've watched my recent video, you'll see me repair a whole load of Star Wars figures from bits and pieces that I keep. It looks like there's some bits I can use in here. We have, this is Lando Calrissian in his skiff disguise with both of his arms detached. It looks like someone has boiled and popped those arms out, because otherwise that's not a bad looking figure. We can easily put him back together and have a pretty reasonable looking Lando. We also have a Bespin Lando Calrissian. Oh, and there's the head there. So we got the Bespin Lando with his head snapped off. So that's an easy fix. You'll have seen me fix that in the last video with a bit of Lego. We have, that looks like a Bespin version of Han Solo's head. Very useful piece that. And we have a 21B medical droid missing the head, and I actually do have a head for a 21B medical droid, so that is definitely going to get fixed up. So yeah, broken Star Wars figures, very useful indeed. We have Mr. T from the A-Team, who just looks like he needs a new O-ring. Often with these guys the screws are a bit awkward to get out and a bit rusty, so I'll see if I can fix him, but it should be an easy one to fix up. And then we have some Mego figures. So we have, this is one of the fighting fists versions of Batman. He's missing an arm. That looks like that has snapped off, but there's a lever on the back and you can swing him around and he can have a fight with all the other villains. So some useful parts in that one, certainly useful legs. And then we have a Spider-Man, which is actually a figure I am trying to fix up. I've got most of the pieces now. In fact, I think the final pieces I needed were the hands, so this can be used for that. It's got a broken leg. I can see his knee is broken, so maybe we can even use Batman's leg to repair that. But that is really cool because that means I can finish off the Spider-Man that I've been wanting to build. So very useful indeed. And then we have a Dr. Zaius. This is his outfit, or the top part of his outfit. So Ash, thanks ever so much for giving me these and for coming to say hi. I did give Ash a toy-polloi badge and a sew-on patch, so he walked away with some toy-polloi goodies. Yeah, thanks ever so much for watching the channel and for donating these. Much appreciated. Next up we have these two vintage Transformers, although I have to say one is a reissue. This is a Generation 1 Galvatron. Now I do have Galvatron already in my collection, but I don't have any of his accessories, and the Galvatron I have is in a pretty rough condition. So this one is not too bad. It's a little bit play worn, but he has all of his accessories. So he's got his gun, he's got his blaster, he's got the little sort of waist piece there. And the guy said that he didn't work, which is pretty common with these Galvatrons. He said that the electronics didn't work, but I have had a quick look and I can see straight away there is a battery inside him. So maybe just the battery has failed, but often the switch there is broken as well. And I've actually got a fix for that. So that's an easy one to do. So this is going to be a sort of a project that I'm going to clean up and add to my collection, to swap out an old Galvatron that I think has sort of certainly seen better days. So I think he will clean up pretty nicely. I actually paid £30 for the two of these. Originally the price was at 40, but when we looked inside the Rodimus Prime box here, he didn't have any of his accessories, so I got the two for £30. So yeah, this is a Japanese reissue, sort of fairly recent reissue, I think from early 2000s, something like this. Yeah, he's missing his shield and he's missing his gun, but he does have the sort of spoiler piece that you can see there. I just really like these reissue boxes, so I thought for £10 actually that's pretty reasonable. Maybe at some point I will find the accessories. I'm still looking for the accessories for my G1 version, but yeah, so it's another one to add to the list of things to sort of fix up, but I'm pretty happy with those. The Galvatron was one that I've been wanting to sort of replace or upgrade in my collection for a long time, and I think with a bit of work he will end up looking really nice, and I'm sure I can get him making sounds again. And now for some few little oddities. I picked up a couple of pieces from Jurassic Coast Collectibles. He had a few pieces that I was after. This is Beaumark from the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons toy line. You don't see the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures particularly often, and if they're under £5 I will buy any of them. This is a figure that I had as a child that I really used to like. I do already have him in my collection, but he's actually in pretty reasonable condition. So if we just open this up, you can check him out. So yeah, this guy was £5. He should sort of swing around. If you press that button on his side, he swings around. Normally the white plastic tends to go very yellowed on him. This one is really not bad at all. There's a bit of dirt on his arms, which should clean up pretty nicely, and then a bit of paint chipping on his hands. But overall, that is a really nice looking figure. And I do have plans to show how to make capes for some of these figures. And I think Beaumark's a good starting point because he just has a plain blue cape. In fact, you can just about see some of the elastic left there around his neck. So for £5, he was well worth grabbing. Then he also had this, which is a vintage sew-on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. So you can tell this is a UK one. This is from 1990. It's an iron-on patch. And the reason I bought that is to add to my nerd vest, so I thought that was a pretty nice thing to get. So those two things were from Jurassic Coast Collectibles. Then Joe at Time Tunnel Toys, I always sort of have a rummage on his stall, and he had this, which is a smashed up Masters of the Universe. I think this guy's name is Roadster. And I picked it up, and Joe basically said that he was sort of waiting for somebody to pick that up, and if anyone picked it up, they could have it for free. So he gave me this for free, and it really is smashed to pieces. I'm not quite sure what has happened to it, but it's all in pieces. I, though, have one of these out in my sort of garage and in project boxes of things to fix up that is missing this little engine block on the back. So that is why I grabbed it, because I think I can at least take that part off if I can work out how to get it off the back of this figure and repair the one that I have. So this poor little Roadster is going to be a parts donor to fix up another one. So that should be a fun project. It's always interesting to have a look inside these toys to see how they are constructed. So this one has a sort of heavy flywheel, and that's what makes him shoot forward. So massive thank you to Joe for very kindly giving me that. And then Lawrence at Toy Planet UK very kindly gave me this. A while back I bought off him one of these little transforming watches in the hope of getting it working, and sadly the electronic parts inside were too sort of corroded, but he said he had another one that in his sort of spares box which was sort of battered and worn and sort of only good for parts, so he very kindly gave me another one of those. So this is a little blue version. Again, it's in a pretty sorry state, but I'm hoping the internal parts, the little quartz parts, will be salvageable and I can actually get the one that I bought off him working properly. So he very kindly gave me that. But then on another stall I found this, which was the remains of another one. This one is in a terrible condition. It's all sort of covered in blue tack and that, but I thought I would grab that as well, again just on the off chance that the inside parts of this are working. So a massive thank you to Lawrence at Toy Planet UK for that one. And then they're just a nice little find. So I've actually got sort of 3 of these now. Hopefully I'll get one that works. I also have to say a massive thank you to Nick Action Pop Dad. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I'm going to put a link to that in the description. We met up and he very kindly gave me this, which is a Big Jim figure that he had. Big Jim is a sort of bit of an odd one. He's a little bit like an Action Man, but maybe a little bit sort of more muscly, and I think more aimed at the American market, because as far as I'm aware, I never remember these as a child sort of being around, but there's quite a few people who collect them. I've got a friend who is a massive Big Jim collector, so that's a nice one. I think I actually have an outfit for this guy up in my loft, so I'm going to have to go and dig that out. And then he also gave me this little box of accessories for projects and figures that I've been trying to finish. He gave me the shield for War Duke, so this is another advanced Dungeons and Dragons figure, so that is something I actually need. I have a War Duke without a shield, and then a load of accessories for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You'll have seen recently that I've fixed up a Shredder, and this is the belt that I needed, so that's great. That's a spare belt for Shredder, so I can finish him. I've also got Splinter coming along. There's a video in a few weeks making the cape for Splinter, and I didn't have the belt for him either, so that is Splinter's belt and some accessories as well. Some of my Ninja Turtles don't have their weapons, and so this is most of a weapons rack from one of the modern reissues, but the weapons are pretty much the same, so I know I'm definitely going to need a few of these to put with those. So massive thanks to Nick for sorting me out with those. So there we go, those are all of the pieces that I picked up today. It was a really fun toy fair, lots of stuff to see, and as you can see, I got some nice pieces for my collection and also bits for projects, which is always useful. I do also need to say thank you and a hi to Mark from the YouTube channel Toys and Tat. I will put a link to his channel in the description. He stopped me and gave me one of his stickers, so that is really cool. I've seen him before at the toy fair, and in fact last time he gave me a Miles Mayhem for the Mile of Mayhem. If you don't know what that is, then head on over to toy-polloi 2 and you'll find out all about it. So massive thank you to Mark. But yeah, overall a very good toy fair, lots of stuff to see, and I'm really happy with all the pieces that I picked up. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you have, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you've really enjoyed it and want to help support the channel, then why not think about becoming a Patreon or YouTube channel member. You get early access to all of my restoration videos and also access to an exclusive restoration series called On the Cutting Mat, where you'll see projects that you won't see anywhere else. So have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Toy Polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.